have a coffee, go hang out, go talk. That's one thing. But financial stuff, loans and stuff, it really, things like that. Letting people live with you or work for you, anything, it gets tricky quickly. Yeah.
Oh yes, it does. I will not co-sign for no one. No.
My aunt had to put my cousin in jail because he took off in her new car and wrecked it, and it was either she take responsibility for it or because or her insurance, or he take responsibility for it, or her insurance wouldn't pay for it. So she just like, fuck you, he stole it. He did steal it. He really did steal it. Like, but it was just like she had the choice. $16,000 amount, $16,000, or he goes to jail for stealing a vehicle or whatever. It's like he went to jail. No, that's you gotta learn.
Yeah.
Don't fuck over mom. Don't fuck over your poor mom like that.
Oh wait, Ben, I got your DM on Twitter. Didn't really respond, but yeah. One day, when I have time to spare, it'd be nice.
I thought it would be funny. I thought it'd be kind of funny. The premise, it would be fun, kind of just interesting. It kind of be. I think that Chinese people would be bothered by my pronunciation, my tones, or something. I would hope that some Chinese person would stumble across it and be like, "Hold on, I'm gonna jump on there," and then like become a regular, and then like kind of like we can negotiate out the meaning and stuff. I think that's the fun thing about languages, like translating it actually. And there was a book I read about teaching language and about language theory, and it was talking about something yada yada yada, the mismatch between language. You get better and better at noticing the mismatch between your language and the native speakers, pronunciation or grammar or whatever. And sorry, that's not what I meant to talk about. Actually, it was in that book it was saying something about the intranslatability between languages. Like it was like some things that are like almost intranslatable, or something that's like really hard to, that intranslatability factor, it gets really difficult. And like that's what I love. For me, like challenge is a very positive word.
I can barely
like the idea of to be challenged. Like, oh, that's like positive.
Yeah, I mean, I tried before, and that's when I had a lot of time. And heck, I can barely even speak English very well. So trying to speak Mandarin, Cantonese, or whatever dialect that you'd be teaching.
Mandarin,
yeah. It would be hilarious, at least. Yeah. All right, see you, Dave. He's working on union stuff. Dave's busy. Busy. But that's good.
Hey, did you guys hear that yesterday, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, an African American barber was, and then the state is, they have a law, license, conceal, and carry.
Mm-hmm.
And these beat cops, which the ones that walk on the street, saw this black guy standing outside, and they said it looked like he had a lump or a gun. I don't know really what happened, but they came up on him, and it was a little confrontation, and he started running away. He was a local barber, and they loved him there.
Yeah.
And the female officer shot him 3 times in the back and killed him. They out there protesting tonight.
Okay.
I said, Dad, they just had a peaceful protest last week on the highway against guns, and then this happened. And I heard that she was supposedly had just been sworn into office as an officer.
So the guy did nothing wrong. I mean, well, he ran from the police. That's like evading police, but he didn't have like some warrant or something else that he does.
No, he didn't have anything. He was just standing outside. He was a local barber. He was a law-abiding citizen. He was licensed to carry and conceal like the law out there in Chicago. I hope more come out to it, but the police, they're going to say, oh, he tried to draw his gun and yada, yada, yada. So they always come up with something. Always. and it's sad.
Yeah, I'll share it. I don't know if there's any videos on it. It was in Chicago, you said, right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause they just had a peaceful protest last week on the highway, Dan Ryan Highway, and then the cops, they worked a deal where the cops shut the whole house down so they can peacefully protest, and it went well.
Yeah.
And then this happened.
I love how you started off though, Shirley. Did you guys hear? Seriously, you need your own show. All right. Oh, who is this? Eric.
I think.
Eric, why weren't you there with
Eric.
How you doing, Eric? Hillary Clinton, 2020. You're gonna have to call her Madame President.
Oh hell no.
That's right, Eric. I'm with you too. Not that cunt.
Oh hell no.
All right. So here's the article. This is written 7/15/2018 at 12:28 a.m., which is like an hour ago. Protesters, police square off in South Shore after officer fatally shoots man. You can see a picture here with the police barricades and some protesters. A crowd of protesters. This is by Nader Issa in Chicago Sun-Times. A crowd of protesters sparred with a group of Chicago police officers Saturday evening near the street where an officer fatally shot a man during a confrontation in South Shore. The chaotic scene simmered for hours after the encounter as dozens of people chanting "murderers and no justice, no peace" lingered in the neighborhood. Several officers were hurt by rocks and bottles hurled at them, and police said 4 demonstrators were arrested. The shooting happened about 5:30 p.m. in the 2000 block of East 71st Street, according to police and Chicago Fire Department officials. Officers on foot saw a man exhibiting characteristics of an armed person, and a confrontation ensued when they tried to question him. Chicago police spokesman Anthony Guglielmi tweeted. An officer then opened fire. The man, thought to be in his 30s, was pronounced dead at Jackson Park Hospital. CFD spokesman Larry Merritt said no officers were hurt, and a weapon was recovered at the scene, along with several magazines of ammunition, according to Guglielmi. And here's the thing: it's like how would anyone know whether that person really had a gun or not? The cops, after they shoot him, was like, "Hey, let's just plant a gun and some ammo on him, and we don't have to be found liable."
Yeah, but he was licensed to carry a concealed weapon.
Oh.
So even if he had a gun on him, but they don't put that in the article either.
Oh, let me see.
So they get ready to start with their fucking narrative now.
Is it like the almost exact same thing happened to Philando Castile?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh shit.
I just did a word search. There wasn't the same thing. It was licensed or conceal. You can see that I'm trying to type it in.
And that's something like that just happened a couple of weeks ago up here in Pennsylvania. A 16-year-old was killed by a police officer. He had just got sworn in a couple of hours before he killed that kid.
You know, I would expect this from Chicago Sun-Times, you know, Illuminati type of stuff.
So maybe it should be, maybe I'm sorry, Reba, but yeah, maybe I just want to say real quick, maybe it should be that all new cops absolutely have to have, like, I think it should be all cops that should have to have the camera on all the time. But yeah,
I think rookies should be out there with veterans, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. And getting more education, that's cliche to say.
Look,
And it pisses me off when they say, "Oh, we should have the people that look like us in our neighborhoods." Hell no, they just as worse than the white cop.
Hey, Shirley, Fox News is saying that, here's a snippet. It says, they later determined that the man was carrying a semi-automatic weapon for which he did not have a concealed carry permit and also possessed magazines of ammunition. That's Chicago Police Patrol Chief Fred Waller.
Well, I'm not sure. He was a local barber in the neighborhood, and everyone said he was a law-abiding citizen, and he normally have his daughter with him. And thank God he didn't have him with her last night. But Fox News have their narrative. When things like this happen, they just, I can't go by them.
Yeah.
I can't go by them. They have their narratives too.
Yeah. It's still mainstream corporate media.
Yeah. But the people said the man was a good guy.
Look,
And
Rosenfield has it right. He says, strange how some people believe the Second Amendment guarantees the right for every citizen to own a gun, yet cops always use an excuse, he had a gun. No shit, it's his right.
That law, that license to carry, that is not for black folks. Seriously, it's not. And I know personally because of my son.
Yeah, and yes, if someone runs away, cops should run after him, not kill him, or do some investigating and arrest him later. Yeah, well, cops can't really catch anybody with the donuts that they eat these days. Little joke there. They can't. They don't even train them. How do you expect them to catch anybody when they don't even get trained on proper protocol? They probably don't have enough training for even physical training. It says, hey, if you suspect someone of having a gun or possibly committing a crime, shoot first, ask questions later. You'll be okay. You'll just take a paid vacation, and you'll be fine.
And it was just a shooting yesterday in Vineland, New Jersey, against this guy, this African American.
Mm-hmm.
All these officers around. It seemed like the guy may have been high on something or had a mental breakdown. He didn't have no weapon. He was just pacing back and forth. And all of a sudden, they shot and killed him.
I'm surprised there's not going to be... I'm just surprised there's no uprising that'll ever happen. I mean, this racial paradigm has been happening for decades, even after... which amendment was it? The 17? I keep thinking 17. What was passed by JFK. I mean, everything should be...
And I believe this is being done on purpose to keep people divided, both races.
I agree, 100%.
They have the lower class white folks thinking, oh, the blacks are doing better than us. Hell to the no, we doing worse. Hispanics are even doing better than blacks. So that theory is wrong.
Yeah.
It's just you don't have media to really tell you the truth, and that's sad. And I'm so sad Ed Schultz died.
Yeah. Gets worse. And here's the thing is, it's like there's no replacements we're seeing, you know? There's always replacements at the top. But there aren't replacements of those who fight against them. All the corruption and whatnot. Numbers are dwindling every time.
Yeah, I got a debate with my husband today. Keep talking about, you're a Trump supporter. I'm like, think whatever you want to think. I hate I have to defend him, but he's right on something. Why don't the Democrats have a message and talk about his policy? They can get him on a lot of stuff.
Hey, they have
I tried to check out. Oh, sorry, Ebon. You got something?
I'm just saying the Democrats do have a message. Hillary Clinton, 2020.
That's no message. That's just propagating. I mean, look at the DNC emails. It proves that they propagate bullshit. They will lose in 2020.
They're gonna win.
They're gonna lose.
They're gonna win.
They're gonna lose. No, they're gonna lose big time, and they're gonna lose big, and they're gonna lose hard.
The only way people would believe the Democrats if they were to cop up, owner up to the kind of the crap in the WikiLeaks and go forward on a new turn a new leaf, really go forward in a new way, with a better policy, and being accountable for all that, and taking account of all that, and dealing with it, and addressing it, and apologizing for it. The only way we believe them is if they really cleaned house first, and it was really a fresh crew, more so than all the old incumbents and old faces. It was really they got rid of 50% of the people, and the whole DNC like cleaned house. A lot of the bigger ones, they're really, and then I think even the ones that were left, if you got kept the good ones, they would have a lot more hope. They could be hopeful at least about their job and their existence and the promise for the whole thing. But other than that, I totally agree with you guys. They're gonna lose. I don't see them. I mean, convincing enough people.
They already have a lot of people convinced, and now it's just 4 years of Trump looking bad, and 4 years of Hillary Clinton.
That's how they propagate him.
Exactly.
I mean, the DNC emails have proven that, and the Podesta emails have proven that. That's just enough proof. They lied, they cheesed, they lied, they cheated, they colluded with the DNC colluded with the media. Now they're blaming everything. They're blaming anything and everything except for themselves. They hold themselves to this lecturing moralistic high ground while hiding behind their corruption. They're gonna lose.
There's nothing that's coming forth. Oh, hold on. There's nothing that's coming forth from the DNC lawsuit. So it's a nothing burger that they can say. There's also damn it, train of thought.
And more people should go and boycott the DNC and the Democrats. I mean,
the DNC lawsuit they filed, they basically impeaching themselves with the lawsuit Jared Beck and Elizabeth Beck filed.
Yeah, and those people deserve their fucking money back after all that fucking cheating.
Yeah,
they deserve their money, and plus,
they deserve to learn. They deserve to learn that, so that they don't fall for the My Revolution, the TYT.
And they should be fucking TYT oblivion.
Sad face. Please donate and help us fight. There's all that endless pandering and
There's more people that are still on that bandwagon with TYT and corporate media, and the ones who gone out of it from us, the more progressive Bernie people, turn towards either Trump or going to the right, or just fall out of it if they haven't by now. It's kind of
like a half-assed support for Jill Stein. Kind of well, I'm full of apathy. I'm full of resignation at this point, nihilism maybe even. But I'm just gonna vote for Jill Stein. I mean, hell yeah, Jill Stein.
Yeah, I'll vote for her again.
No, it's not that. It's not going to change anything.
There's a lot,
but I have a conscience.
There's a lot of new channels. There's a lot of blogs. There's Caitlin Johnstone and Zach Keller, for better or worse, or for whatever anything you disagree with different people. They all kind of have one thing in common, where they're not buying it. They're refusing to talk under that context. And in that way, if you just look at Hard Bastard himself, he is conservative, yes, like Ebon was saying, but still there, it's reasonable. So I was thinking when I was watching his show today, there's 600 people live watching it. These people, almost every single one of them, they know it's all bullshit, and they're not gonna ever forget it. And then when they have conversations with people around them in society, they're not gonna say harsh things, And it's I was thinking though, I mean, you have people who lean left, you have people who lean right. We've been talking Perseus Gold, he's definitely right, or leans right at least.
And at this point, it shouldn't even be about left or right.
You can even bleed left. You can bleed right, but it doesn't matter. It's not like these people who are liars. It's not like these people who want you to believe a lie. It's we want people to be disenchanted. They want you to be more enchanted. That's what the media and this crap is like.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about left or right anymore. It's just about corruption. And whichever side you're on, that side is actually fighting against you. Trump is just the Obama of the right. That's what I've said all the time. That's what I keep saying. And they won't look at all the bad things that Trump does. Look at the way that they mold it. They say it's 4D, 3D, 5D chess, whatever. You know, who cares if he's repealing net neutrality? Who cares if he's putting in a worse swamp? Who cares if he's done gun control measures on his watch? Who cares if he's still he dropped a mother of all bombs that he's in these intervention? Who cares that he's for Israel occupation over Palestine? Who cares, etc., etc.? All they care about is, hey, it's not the DNC, it's not the liberals, it's not the progressives, it's not the he's fighting the deep state. They like all this drama.
I said he was like the Obama. I said he was like the Obama of the right a long time ago as well, and I think it's because of the way that he inspires this hope, and there's a sort of diluted enchantment with the right that they're like, oh, he's this guy fighting for me, and even some people on the left, like Anomaly and Zach Collar, who sympathize with him and think that he's this renegade kind of maverick that he's also portrayed to be. But yeah, I think that the Democrats are going to wake up. That's what the way that he's like Obama is. That people eventually woke up, but it took them like 8 whole years because they kept buying the, oh well, he's I'm like a far left and Obama's far left, so but he's going to get around to it, and I'm far right and Trump's far right, and he's going to get around to it. But really, Trump isn't that far right. Like, he's not really that far right. He's not. I mean, if you look at George Bush and things, their last Republican president, he's not that. His policies aren't that much crazy different, or from McCain's or Romney's or something. So,
I mean, here's the thing. You know, I kind of have support for a lot of the independent thought, especially on the right. The thing is, the ones who troll, they're on the right. You would think it'd be the left. The Democrats that are trolling, it's not. It's the right, and they're just making it worse. The way that they behave is just making it worse. They're just trying to make everything into the extreme of whatever freedom is, and making the opposition say, "Hey, we don't like these extremes of freedom. We need to curb the limit on freedom." So they're actually doing everything exactly wrong. In order to promote freedom, you have to be very responsible. You have to be accountable for your actions within a society of free people. And that when they act in the extremes of making it so that it's hard to keep these freedoms, they're doing exactly what the power mongers want. They're doing exactly what the left would want. They want to say, hey, look, there's these extremists of freedom. We gotta limit freedom for our safety and, you know, for our convenience of society, etc. They're just making it worse. They don't realize it.
What is it called? Like antipodes or something? I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like they're like these like these opposite. Like with Hillary's policy that she thinks abortion should be allowed through the whole 9 months. If that's taking an extreme position, then you have something a real slow pitch for the Republicans to come back and say, no, that's not right, you know, and it's kind of, it goes both ways from party to party, and I think it's kind of what you're saying, but it's definitely an unhealthy relationship and dynamic between those things.
Yeah, and again, divide and conquer strategy. That's what it is. All right, we gotta stop talking about politics and Hillary Clinton. Unless we just want to rile up Shirley and Eric.
if they're both part of the same thing, they're both essentially the same thing, and they blame the other side, they're basically blaming themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they're basically like, at least half of what they're complaining about is their fault. Like, no less.
And here's another thing with QAnon and all this other stuff with Anonymous is it's like a two-pronged acceptance. One, that anonymous people are good. People who work within secret and you don't know anything about them, it's good. So transparency is bad, right? A lot of people want more transparency in government. That's not gonna happen when you've got one side looking up towards those that are not transparent, that are hidden behind concealment, etc. Oh, sorry, segue again. Here's another thing.
Are the same.
Yeah, and here's the thing with 2020. No more Julian Assange. He can't meddle with politics. WikiLeaks aren't going to have Podesta leaks in 2020. They're not going to have DNC DNC leaks in 2020. So people don't have a great memory in general population.
Oh, there'll be a way.
Hopefully, but if there's not, there's going to be less ammo against Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Heck, we've got...
The DNC emails and Podesta emails have revealed their corruption.
Yes, it has.
They can play the same game again in 2020 and still lose.
Well, look at how many people are still for the DNC and for Hillary Clinton. They're still excited. You saw that speech?
And they lost a lot of black voters.
Yeah.
Those people will believe it, but there's no way possible that I'm not going to be. It's absolutely utterly impossible that I wouldn't, like, you know, everything's just all quiet and calm, and it just seems all just, oh well, the progressive person lost the primaries, and now we have, you know, horrible choice that's, you know, been part of all this that we were unhappy with in 2016, whatever that person might be, and then there's just no way that nothing's going to get me to vote for them. And that doesn't matter. It's just me. I think there's no way that people like me aren't going to hold on to their cynicism.
Yeah, but here
and a real thick, healthy, lasting, durable cynicism when it comes to this shit. So it doesn't really matter if it's out there. It's like it's quiet. It's still obvious. It's still read between. They still can just be like, you know, don't buy it and not buy it and not give them your vote. And I'm not.
There's just too much ammo for the Democrats against the Republicans in 2020, and there's just so much. They can even just say, hey, you picked the lesser of two evils. Look what happened. Here, I'll give you another chance. Here's Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. Here's what we're not going to do.
Hillary Clinton has a history and a tenure. She will not win.
Sure. Isn't there also a lot of people that are really annoyed with politics and annoyed with the last election period? And maybe they're just annoyed with all of these Trump jokes. Isn't there like a lot of people like that too? Like they can calculate like that and think, oh yeah, you know, we got a good you know, logical sophist way to come at Trump and play on people's and we got all these 4 years in president. Now we got all this arsenal we can use against them. But they can think like that. But also, I think that would be actually underappreciating, you know, and considering for that, like, you know, people are really frustrated with, I know I am just really frustrated with the circus and the show and all the you know, all the partisanship and all the fakeness. So I mean, like, you know, it's going to be a fake campaign, you know, it's going to be all cheesy and all slimy, and it's just, I don't know if people are going to dig the self-righteousness and dig the pat and self on the back and
it doesn't matter.
Trump. It's so annoying.
It doesn't matter. Look at us. The numbers are small. The organizations of people who are just no longer want part of the system are small. People are either I mean, just look at the support for Green Party. It's small. Everything that happened in 2016, everything, whether you were for Trump, against Trump, for Hillary, for Bernie, against DNC, they just go back into the system and they go, all right, you know, it's bad.
You're totally freaking right, man. Absolutely right. But you know, and I don't mean to say but right now, but you know, if you did have somebody emerge, if you did have somebody enter the scene,
we're putting our hopes into a hero system, superhero system again.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that you never can foresee all of these things. So were that to happen and people had another option, I think the reason that people
we can't look,
because there's only two choices. They're both terrible. I mean,
yeah,
of course they're supporting the one that's less terrible. That's the only
we can't have that one person again. TYT's not gonna support someone like Bernie Sanders again and turn on him again. You can't even have someone who isn't a Democrat within the primaries anymore running. So if they're not in office as a Democrat, they can't run in the Democratic primary. You can't even have that in the Democrats anymore. So they're shutting off every avenue. They saw the bugs that they saw in 2016, and they're updating their and fixing their version for 2020. Yeah. And look at hold on, and then look at the independent media. Has it grown since 2016? No, it hasn't. It's stagnated. It's even dropped off because it's gotten more volatile against each other. It's gotten towards left-right corporate media. Now it's left-right indie media. There's no unity. There's nothing against corruption. We've taken sides. I mean, just look at Tim Black and H.A. Goodman. Remember those Freedom Fridays? No longer exist. You got oh yeah, no sellouts. There you go. On Mondays, you've got indie media choosing a side. They're going to one side, and you've got less unity.
I don't choose a side.
Exactly, Eric. You're one of the smart ones. All you guys here.
That's what's going to be important is if Jimmy Dore in 2020 says, well, you know, I really think we have to go ahead and I know I'd like to do that go for the Green Party, but I think we have to go ahead and get Trump out of there because, you know, we got these two big things. Maybe it's something that didn't happen yet between now and 2020. We got these two big things that he did that are so bad, and so we got to get him out. So, you know, you don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, maybe he'd walk away. But it's I think that you can see the TYT brand come through Sank. You can see it come through Kyle, and sorry, you can see it come through. You can see it come through Jimmy. And you can see it come through Kyle. And I went back to try to watch Hunis Report, and all I saw was him ripping on Mitch McConnell and just hitting on the Republicans, and it was just totally TYT brand. Mm-hmm. It was like Mike Figueredo was, where the hell happened to that guy, doppelgang, and you know, like the same, yeah, like, I mean, you can just feel the brand, strong brand coming through Kyle Kulinski, coming through even Jimmy Dore when it gets to certain points. When he gets on certain areas, you can feel the TYT influence. And I think so. On the one hand, I'd like to give them TYT credit. Say, look, they got their finger on the pulse. They're interacting and exchanging with these people that are real, genuinely smart. They once were great, like liberal voices. They've been somewhat to different degrees, you know, tarnished and corrupted by the TYT corporation. But I think that I can't really give them that credit, and I can't really say, oh, they're doing the right thing, because more than having an interchange and exchange and, you know, reaching any kind of reasonable sort of thing, it's like they're using the purse strings control and domination, and they're just basically making sure their message comes through, and they tout that a certain line, stay within a certain, you know, they keep them on a leash, and they're also pretending like they're this independent thing. They say we're the largest independent thing on the YouTube, and I remember all those commercials, and it's like that's such a joke, you know. It's like you know, McDonald's saying they're your friend, or like some kind of big giant company. Like it's just so wrong. It's not real. Like so like, oh, the community Walmart community version, whatever, right. Friendly neighborhood, family, blah blah blah.
It's like saying Walmart's the biggest mom and pop chain in the country. Go ahead, Shirley.
Well, speaking of TYT, didn't they start 3 new networks and they gave Jimmy Dore a show?
I don't know.
Yeah, they did. I saw it.
Shirley, I don't, you know, I don't watch news anymore, not even indie news, really, you know, every once in a while, but you're my news now, yeah. Shirley. You have to come on and tell me, did you hear? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, they started new network. One with Jimmy Dore.
Wow.
William Shore. I can't stand him.
Sure.
And Pink got something called that Rebel Watch.
Rebel Watch.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, there you go, right there. Rebel Watch. Come on.
Yeah, just the name. We know. I'm just glad I'm not alone. I mean, I'm getting loner and loner, it seems, but I'm just glad I'm not alone.
I used to get alerts for that, and I'm like, what is this Rebel Watch? And I saw it's TYT, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I saw Grimes, and I'm like, oh, I just don't like his reporting. He's just so dry and dull.
But I swear that they're targeting the baby boomers like hard. Mm-hmm. Do you feel it like hitting your demographic, like Shirley? Like, I mean, I feel like they're targeting you guys really hard because they know that's like the more liberal generation, and they know that like you guys are like turning into the like senior citizens, I guess, are getting there where it's like, you know, that's the main voters, you know, they're going to get out and vote. So I think that they're like overlooking, like, I think somebody had this conversation before, maybe Gardner or something, talking about like this little kind of a smaller generation. I don't know. Generations are arbitrarily, like, you know, talked about or whatever, but anyway.
I wish
yeah,
Garden was here.
They're really targeting, yeah, right, for a TYT discussion. It's like almost that's.
Yeah, it's hard to have
like
a TYT discussion without Garden. Sorry, go ahead.
I liked you guys were covering the episodes. That was cool. That's a cool concept. I always kind of like wanted to do that, make fun of TYT episodes, like as a group, or MSNBC.
We want you to be triggered.
I think it'd be fun to tune in MSNBC and rip on them like really hard, like, you know.
Hard Bastard do a good job on them.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's awesome. And that David Dan Packman.
Oh, that ivory tower lecturing son of a bitch.
He sound like he about to have an orgasm for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I saw all those. Under the desk, like his sidekick.
He lectures. That's like why I don't fucking like him. And when someone goes up against him, he's like, "Oh, I can't be wrong, so you're wrong. You're wrong.
Exactly.
And let me lecture you and let me bore you." It's like when I hear when he insults his own callers, I'm like, what the fuck? Why does he get all of the fucking attention? Be like, oh, he's right because he's doing the right thing. Absolutely fucking wrong. He's an ivory tower lecturer. He lectures from an ivory tower of propaganda. Yeah, that's actually the way I actually do see him. That's why I like mocking. That's why I like mocking these pundits. These propagandists, with people that lecture, those people that just want to sit there and just lecture through like this moralistic high ground instead of actually being fucking honest and not even taking in a corporate fucking media narrative, and actually just actually telling it like it is. Like David Packman, he's like, the Trump dossier. Oh, there is Russia collusion, and this is my ivory tower that I lecture in, and there's my friend. Yeah, he's there, and the times where he disagree with me, I have to shut him up because I'm afraid of being wrong, and it's all about me and my ivory tower. That's actually how I take him. Like he's like some crazy guy. That's like that's how I treat him. It's like
in books, there's like an old like literary tradition to like annotate books, like go through a book, write your notes on the side, But think like anything could spark, like if you listen to Joe Rogan, there'd be things you'd want to say or think or object or question or sort of like just kind of like points you'd want to raise or but you can't because you're not there. The thing, what I mean? Like obviously, and like what other things like in the books, like I just found something I read and heard a lot of George Santayana stuff, but just there's something the other day I was like, man, I wish I could go back and object to like one little thing though. Like I agree, there's nothing I would ever object with that I've ever got from him, but it's like there's always like something, like maybe 1%, maybe just a teeny tiny little bit of something that you'd want to say. Like you can watch, but when there's something like TYT or something like pure propaganda and sophism like MSNBC, there's gonna be plenty to say and interject and be like, just anybody that's annoying, anybody that's a dumbass, it's just there'd be all kinds of places, opportunities just naturally to pause and stuff that comes to mind. So I think anything that's like a show that's easy work and that cathartic and like therapeutic, it's just you should just do it. Makes sense. But yeah, Hard Bastard lets TYT have it and things like that.
I'm actually glad that Hard Bastard does that, and he tells it like it is. That's why I always enjoy watching his live streams. And plus, if I miss something, I could just go watch it on Bitchute. I mean,
I feel like he's just a little bit too just. Does he? I would love to see him take some jabs at the Republicans like every once in a while, and like be like, but this is bullshit, and like this ideology is. He does too. He says I don't agree with it, but he won't go as far as to like say, like really to condemn it, So it seems like a one-way thing. Like he's just condemning the left all day long. But that's kind of more
I see it from like both. I see both perspectives on the left and the right, but I'm more independent because I don't want to be dependent upon the left or the right. I would just rather have my own source of independence and not be dependent on either side. But that's how I do see people. Like, I don't see people on the left. I don't see people on the right. I just see them as independent. It just depends who's dependent on what.
That's an awesome concept. That's what you just said there.
That's just me because I mean, fuck the labels. Like, oh, this person, oh, this views, oh, it's on the left, or this views, it's on the right. I just don't fucking care. All I care is for information.
Yeah. I mean,
plus, people have their own opinion on everything. I mean, hell, I'm not going to agree with, of course, I'm going to have my agreements, and of course, I'm going to have my disagreements, and there's going to be my stuff where I have my agreements and disagreements.
Yeah. And like, sorry, I'm just saying how I like the way that you worded it is that you're independent, I'm independent, and if you're independent, you're not dependent on the left, you're not dependent on the right, you're not dependent on Democrats, you're not dependent on Republicans. Why do we have to depend on them, right? They depend on us. They're dependent. And that's the thing is we need to get people to realize that the political parties, the structure that's in place is dependent on us, the individuals out here. We don't have to be dependent on them, and that's why
dependent is the opposite of independent. So it's like this kind of like subtle way that it kind of forces you into thinking of it in certain terms. Another way to think of third party is like a third party, like mediary, like
yeah.
Somebody who's trying to be neutral and like something like or whatever you call that,
Well, also checks and balances. It could be said.
Like with me, I actually just support the people that just want to give out, information that is important and crucial because the word doesn't get out there all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I share and support whatever I choose to actually share and support. I mean, like, I'm not going to, go and listen to like, someone lecturing on MSNBC lecturing about their pathetic wedge issue and, saying that Trump is like this evil Nazi Hitler or, like evil fascist or, oh, Trump the pussy grabber. Oh, Trump this, Trump that. I'm just fucking sick of the corporate media has reduced itself down to like a useless tabloid of just like, oh, look what Trump tweeted. This is very, very scary. You shouldn't see it. Or, he's offending us by saying fake news, and we're so sad. Boo hoo hoo. Now look at us. Now look at us lecture from this teleprompter that we're forced to pay. Like, that's why I'm just sick of the corporate media. I mean, that's why people should just, the walk away movement. They should walk away from the fucking TV. I mean, walk away from the cable networks. That's what I would do, and that's what I did, and now I'm better off without it.
Yeah.
I'm better off without it because it just pisses you. Here's one thing: the DNC emails and the Podesta emails really, really made me more aware of their bullshit. And that's why I'm really 100% against the corporate media. And that's why they should go down and they need to go. And plus, they're profiting off of... Here's one thing. They're fooling everybody because they're profiting off of Trump. They would want him to win in 2020 again, which I think he'll definitely get him to win 2020 because all this fucking Hillary hate, because that's what they want to do. They want to profit off of, hatred and capitalize off of people's emotions with nonsense and distraction, not getting anything done. They are going to get Trump elected in 2020 because that is much more profitable for them. And plus, with Hillary Clinton getting all that money, and plus she pissed away $1.2 billion. She's going to do it again. And plus, it's just all an act.
Here's the thing.
Look at this fight. That's how you keep up the fight.
Let me chime in. Here's the counter argument, Eric. Is the mainstream media? Yes, they might be profiting off of it, but they were propping up Trump to be the rival to Hillary, and then make him look horrible. Remember, grab him by the pussy thing, and they don't have to do that in 2020. In 2020, they're gonna just shut Trump out. That's all they need to do. They don't even need to give him any more coverage at all. They could just do what they did with Bernie Sanders, and that's probably something that we'll see in 2020. You're gonna see mainstream media coverage. They're not even covering Donald Trump, unless it's something that's pretty bad.
You're wrong, Eben.
I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, Shirley.
They wrong off. You're wrong about that because Les Munoz of CBS, he said, yes, we show Trump. It may not be good for the American people, but we're making money off of this. So they making money off of it. They still doing it every day. Trump, 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 Trump.
Yeah,
which
but
candidate does the corporations could prefer? The corporations that fund the Democrats.
But they corporation. They could still cover Trump, but he doesn't have to be a president. They'll cover Hillary Clinton because when she has to do presidential stuff, but then they're just gonna cover Trump because he's just gonna be in ratings and saying
she's too ill to even campaign.
Yeah, she is.
So
Trust me.
Which candidate would the corporations prefer in terms of policy? Like, which one would they rather have in for their policies, for their taxes and things? They'd rather have Trump. That's why Trump's in, probably. It's their lesser of two evils.
No, I don't think it's because of his policies. Really.
Look, it's the people who control the corporations, and we know that the mainstream corporate media are losing money anyway. They're losing viewers. There's no way that they can keep up with paying like Rachel Maddow $30,000 a day and get like Tony Loren and people like that, give them a lot of pay. There's no way when they're losing viewers, and so money really, it doesn't matter to them. Views, it really doesn't matter to them. I mean, it matters to them. They want high views. They'll do anything they can to get it, and that's why they'll show Trump. But they don't really need to worry about the money. I mean,
well, money doesn't matter. They being supported by the military-industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
What, MSNBC hired Brennan?
Yeah, and they can print money whenever they want. We know that.
And we all know that too damn well.
So
yeah, but I guess if there's a Republican in until 2024, then I guess then we have to want a Democrat after that. So it's just like a long, like sure thing of media, just like middle centrist politicians.
Plus, if we want to go into patterns, now this is like conspiracy theory of coincidences again, but before Bill Clinton went into office, who was president? And it was Republican George Bush. And did he serve 2 terms or just one? He served one term. Yeah. So we could see that, whatever you want to call it, coincidence, glitch, narrative, repeated pattern. We'll see another Clinton in office for 8 years after one-term Republican presidency. I don't want to be right, but anything is possible.
You're not right.
You don't want me to be right, and that's fine because I don't want me to be right either.
Well, my husband told me I was wrong. Trump wasn't going to win the election.
Yeah. And yeah. And
he's going to win again. I'm telling you, his poll numbers are up. They making them look better than better, the Democrats.
Who?
And they vote on everything that he asked for. He asked for less than military spending. They voted for more.
Exactly.
Where's the resistance?
Yeah.
Look, can't resist shit.
Here's the thing: is you're gonna get that resistance, the marching on the streets from the opposition, people who are opposed to that, but the people, Yeah, but the people who are for like President Trump and all the stuff that he hates, are that they support him with, and he doesn't do any of it. They're not out protesting Trump because they don't want to be ridiculed or antagonized by people within their own party or within their own left-right paradigm. They're not, because they don't. They're just going to be hated on more than the opposing party, the opposing force. So you're going to have. Go ahead, sorry.
Both parties are one of the same.
I agree.
And the Green Party should have exploded after that 2016 election, and they haven't. What the fuck are they doing?
Here's the thing with the Green Party again. You have two successful candidates that actually made it on a ballot, and it was only two. I mean, just two. Can you imagine? Just horrible. After all, there's only two. But within those two who made it onto the ballot, guess what? They're not getting any information out of them on how to do it. So that in 2020, that instead of having two Green Party people on the ballot, that there'd be like 100 or 200. I mean, with it, so people see the Green Party with two people making it onto ballot as progress, and they haven't even made anyone into office yet. And then if the chances of those two being elected into office, even if they do make it into office, just those two as representatives, it's not gonna make a dent. It's less than 1%. It's like less than even like 0.03%, where they can make any viable difference within the House of Representatives. So they see it, you know, your progress is like me coming in third for a marathon, and when there's only like when there's like only 3 people running, and we're calling it progress.
Well, either like the Green Party has to be totally cool with the Democrats giving them infinite shit for stepping on their toes and infringing on their votes, or they have to not give another party who might have a similar background and like might be of a similar composition, that they have like, you know, similar policies and ideologies and platform. Well, they have to give them their way too. I mean, the Green Party is going to sit around at 1 to 4% over a period of 30 years, and then be mad if somebody else, some other party, kind of like comes up and starts to be the most well-known, you know, more liberal party. I think, you know, what I'm trying to say is I think we should just like have a new third party.
It doesn't matter.
Not the Green Party. The Green Party seems useless. They seem in the way.
It doesn't matter.
They seem just to be in the way.
Here's the reason why it doesn't matter. Libertarian is the progressive side of the Republican Party, and the Green Party is the progressive side of the Democratic Party. And within the party system, within Democrats, there's that progressive side. Now it's called Justice Democrats, or whatever you want to call it. On the Republican side, there's also a libertarian-ish side of the Republican Party. And all they do is tout the same values of either the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, but they're just going to be more popular being voted in as the Democrat version of the Green Party, or the Republican of that version of that Libertarian Party. So it doesn't matter, because you can always say anything. They look at all the demographics, and right now they got more information by just what people are looking at, what pages they're looking at on Facebook or on the website, and say, hey, this area is a lot more progressive leaning. So whoever's running as a candidate there, just start saying all this progressive stuff. You don't have to implement it, or if you do, go ahead, vote that way for a couple of years, because everyone else, you're just gonna be outvoted as a majority. So eventually, when we need you in the popular popularism, I guess, goes one way or another, you can go and sell out to us because we're the ones who put you in there, etc. It's a game. It's and it's rigged, and it's the only game in town, and people are still playing it.
That last part's like conjecture, but I think that's exactly how that works. Like I think that's exactly how that works. Is like it's just that they already have the majority, and they're very calculating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just there's no way out of it.
How do you defeat the PR machine? How do you defeat, being able to manipulate and control like perception and reality?
It's hard. They control so much, and we let them control so much, and we still let them control much, even after all the stuff that they show publicly.
We're too damn proud. We think that's our view. That's our view. Like we're in the cave. We're in Plato's cave.
Mm. Yeah.
Like it's like that's we take too much have too much ownership of that view. Like it's so attached to our views, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even if there was a superhero solution, like let's say there was another JFK, another Martin Luther King Jr., another Malcolm X, another RFK, what's gonna happen? They're gonna get killed. They're like, all right, you had your one little thing that you guys wanted. All right, you guys, we gave it to you, and we're just gonna kill you for it. And then here comes another 50 years of us making sure that doesn't happen again. And if it does happen, we'll just kill them again. They're okay with killing these high-profile leaders who go against them. There hasn't been one like that in a long, long time. At least not in my lifetime. I haven't seen anyone like that. Bernie Sanders was close. He was close. And that's why there's a lot more people who got woke, I guess you want to say. But it's only like partial wokeness, if you want to call it anything.
Well, no, Evan, I gotta quote you on that. I gotta say you're wrong about that. You were aware. You were born and old enough. JFK Jr. That plane crash. Because they said Hillary Clinton would have won that Senate seat in New York if he didn't die in that crash. Because he was talking about running for office in that seat.
Huh, I didn't even know about that. JFK Jr. died in a plane crash?
Yeah, him and his wife.
That seems suspect. I'm gonna have to go down that rabbit hole. Really? What the hell?
Yes, you do, because somebody had brought it up, and I said when they said JFK, he liked to fly planes, and he flew planes. And all of a sudden, something happened to that plane, and they crashed. And I'm like, that just sounds so weird. And then somebody brought out that Hillary Clinton would not have won that seat in New York if he was still alive, because he was going to run for that seat.
I will definitely have to look into that. Thanks, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Shirley, you are a bastion of information. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
You're one of all you guys on here can just go on. You guys don't need a teleprompter. All the information's on your head. That's the great thing about this, is people watching, people listening. We don't have teleprompters. We don't have to really prepare. We don't have to really take notes. All of it's in here. We just freeform it.
You didn't know that JFK Jr. died in a plane crash?
No. I was asleep way back then.
How old were you then?
I was probably 18. What year? 99? I was
Yes, I remember that. I'm like, oh my God. What was his nickname when his father was assassinated?
I know.
I got his nickname.
I was 20 and I was in the military. So I probably didn't have any news about it. I was basic training / technical training. So I didn't really follow news.
Yeah, and the dad in chat said JFK Jr. was going to run for U.S. Senate in New York. And then she went and ran. She wouldn't have won.
Yeah, and his wife was Carolyn Bessette.
Who's that?
Yep.
She
used
was
to be a model.
Yeah, she had mental health issues too.
Yeah. But that ain't got nothing to do with that damn crash.
July 16th, 1999.
Yeah.
Along with her husband and older sister Lauren, were in a light plane, was piloted, crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off Martha's Vineyard. The National Transportation Safety Board determined that it was probable cause of the crash was the pilot failure to maintain control of the airplane during the descent over water at night, which was which was a result of
Oh wait, you guys are wrong.
Spatial disorientation.
Hey, you guys are wrong. Surely you're wrong. Snopes said that JFK Jr. was not a candidate running for Senate. So if Snopes says it, obviously it's true.
I think he was thinking about running.
Yeah. You're right. I'm just playing with it because Snopes is BS news. Here's daily
and she wouldn't have had a chance. She can't win against nobody.
Yeah, here's New York Daily News way back in July 20th, 1999. A private poll in 1997 found that JFK Jr. was by far the state's most popular Democrat. And two friends said yesterday they believed he would have run for office someday. Earlier this year, in one of the best-kept secrets in state politics, Kennedy considered seeking the seat of retiring Senator Daniel Moynihan of New York. In 2000, friends confirmed yesterday. The idea became moot once First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton signaled her interest in running. But the two friends said they expected the son of the slain president eventually would have jumped into politics as a candidate. Yeah,
because he had that magazine too.
Yeah,
George was called.
Yeah.
And it wasn't doing too good.
No, it wasn't.
I'm hungry. If you guys want to keep talking, I can leave this up. Or Ryan, do you want to start your show?
Nah, man, just leave it up.
Okay. Well, you could go ahead and talk about me.
On out.
Okay. Good night, Eric.
All right. Night, everyone.
Did you?
Night, Eric.
Do you want to show one of your uploads on Bitchute?
Share it? Sure.
Yeah, just
drop it in the chat.
Live chat would be good.
Hey, Ryan, my brother from down under.
Hey, Shell, the Philly Queen.
Let's see.
Oh no!
So
we got matching.
So earlier I was talking. Okay, go ahead.
What's that?
I just wanted to talk about earlier. Earlier I was talking about like how the basically our perception of reality is kind of like controlled and able to be controlled and manipulated. And I think the way it's able to be that is because we think of it as our own, and we think of it as like since it's controlled, and then somebody controls you and gives you this view, and then you think of it as your own. That's how you're able to be controlled. Like that's how that works, is because you're like so proud and you think like this is mine, like this is I don't know, something like that. So if you're always double checking that and uncertain and sort of scrutinizing and critical and basically skeptical, then your view is always like sharpened by that. Then I think you have less chance of being like living in some kind of diluted or false version of reality that somebody is going to pull the wool over your eyes or dupe you and turn you into one of their army of enchanted Nimrods.
It's a good upload. Sorry, I was just looking at Eric's Bitchute upload. All right, here we go. I forgot my login username.
I think most of the things I think about are the terms, like if you stake off this argument and you look at it in this way versus that way. A lot of it's just informed by the common arguments of like that you just hear most people make. I don't really know if I have too much attachment a lot of times to like one particular point. I mean, every issue, I think I'm like Eric. I think every issue is its own issue. Look at that issue in its own instance and circumstances, and then let's talk about how I feel about that. Like, why does it have to be this label to it? And people who have a lifelong affiliation with these things.
Yeah, it's hard being. I don't know. It's just hard being what it is, what we are. I mean, you know, one of these days, I'll just act like I'm a. I guess it's easier here to be. I'll act like a Democrat. I'll be a Christian. I'll go to church on Sundays. I'll join a. What is that? I'll join the
Bible study.
No, the thing that I hate. I'll join the Freemasons. I'll wear a business suit and backdrop. I'll make it more professional. I'll shave. I'll have a short hair crew cut. I don't know.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. Yeah, it is.
I just want to come in here. I just want to come in here in character and be like, yeah, the Democrats, come on, they're the best choice. Haven't you done your homework? It's the best. Hillary was the best candidate in history. Mm-hmm. Come on, guys. Have you done your homework?
Glass ceiling would have been made out of rainbows.
No,
that woman couldn't fill up a damn gymnasium.
Maybe I could get work. Maybe I could become, you know, one of the people in the background that are in these Hillary rallies, and they'll pay me like $100 to attend it.
Well, they had one there like that at a rally that the supporters was around not saying anything. It wasn't a lot of people. They said one girl coming up, Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. She couldn't get them to say that. They weren't excited.
Oh yeah. I would have done that. I would have gone, Hillary, Hillary.
They were not excited at all. And I saw her meet with the coal miners in West Virginia, and they sat at the table with her and said, you just said we're going to end the coal mining, and that's it. How you going to end something that don't offer green energy and train those coal miners to do it?
Yeah. You know what? I'm thinking in 2020 when Hillary runs, if there's anywhere close to where she's gonna campaign, I want to go to her campaign and just be like all for it, and like have all my camera equipment saying, "Yay, Hillary 2020! Let's be you know, just overdo it, you know, saying she needs to run and president for life, you know, president for life, Hillary."
Mm-hmm. Shirley, come on, you know, just be like a religious like faith in the Democrats and Hillary. They know what's best for you, you know. Come on.
It's like
hell to the no.
Well, I can make you believe it.
They lost me. They can't keep blaming Republicans. They can't keep blaming them. Because my husband's like, oh, you sound like a Republican. I said, well, if I sound like that, that's okay. But both parties are one of the fucking same.
Yeah.
Period. Both parties.
Yeah.
What? Look at that Democratic convention. That looks so Republican. They howling out, USA, USA, and all those neocons on the stage.
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't watch it anymore.
Come on, don't you respect that venerable, wise, practical judgment that we don't deserve increased minimum wage of like $12 or $15 an hour? I mean, like, you know, we don't deserve $15 an hour. You know, we're not good enough. Or the Democrats and Hillary, they're quite respectable, admirable. people. We should definitely vote for them. They're definitely the lesser of two evils. Come on, guys.
And honestly, minimum wages should be higher than 15. It should be like in the 20-something with the standard of living.
You know what really pisses me off is like, you know, I think people just need to be more patient about, like, you know, in terms of how many decades they're willing to wait for the lead to get out of the water. People, you know, people these days, right?
And they're going to have us fighting over water.
It's fun. It's really fun. It's really fun.
But they're going to have us fighting over water, clean water. That's what it's leading up to.
It's vital. It's vital. Clean water, acceptable water is so vital.
Yeah, and that movie is The Purge, where everybody get a night off and go just hurt one another. I think they want it like that. Over water.
Is there really scarcity? I mean,
no, poisoning the water. Not scarcity, poisoning the water where you can't drink it.
Poisoning the soil right now is what we're doing. Like the pesticides stay in the ground for like 10 years. You know?
They doing that too.
Is there really scarcity? Because you know, there's still all this organic stuff. You know, there's still all this. So it's like, is it just that they're poisoning all this ground, and then say poisoning, but I guess it is. You know, and then now organic costs more forever. Like now you can sell tomatoes for $5 a piece forever.
And I hate that they call it organic, because that's what I used to eat when I was a kid. Then they call it organic and bump up the damn price.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that tell you right there that their freaking chemical is bogus and a joke and no good and you don't want it? The fact that it costs less because people don't like it as much. So you have this thing that nothing's added to it. And here, look at me, I'm going to add this to it, and now it's worse. Now it's a worse quality product, doesn't have the taste, doesn't have the, you know, the fresh, the whatever. It doesn't have all the, you know, not in a genuine way, not in an authentic way. And it's less healthy for you. And just like all in all less desirable. I mean, people like, you know, when you have like people picking something by hand or taking their time with it, or smaller batches or smaller processes, it's just going to be, people are going to be more selective about when they, you know, they'll take their time more, especially pay people more. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate good food when I get it. I appreciate good quality stuff. I like to eat healthy. If you have like a really fresh, like bell pepper or something, you can eat that. You eat that crap. If like a bell pepper is really fresh, it tastes, you just eat it.
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate living in the city of Philadelphia. We have the Amish here, so.
That must be nice. So, but you can really trust that they're on up and up on the organic side when they say it is?
Yeah, they're Amish. They wear the bonnets and them dresses. They are really Amish.
I mean, you never know, though. They might be sneaking a little miracle grow in the process to you know, get ahead.
And they've been fighting with the government, trying to tell them how to raise their crops and stuff. And that was under Obama.
What is your favorite thing to get from Amish people, food-wise?
Oh, damn near everything. I get meat. I never got sick off of anything. And I had food poisoning before from a meat market, a regular meat market. It was a business for years. I thought I was going to die. It was worse than having a baby, the pain in my stomach.
I had food poisoning twice now in my life. The first time was much more severe, but the second time, boy, I definitely had it. I definitely had it. The first time was
that's the worst feeling. That is the worst feeling, to get food poisoning. Seriously. And I didn't even know they had a pill to kill the pain real quick. They do.
Do they?
But they won't offer it to me. I happened to get it from my sister.
Dang.
Yep, because me and my husband was about to go out, and he happened to get food poisoning. We ate something now, and he was like, I'm feeling bad. And I'm like, oh boy, we're not going to be able to go out. I gave him those pills, and he was found in a half hour, and we went out.
There's like an organic burrito. They have like these breakfast burritos and these burritos and these different kind of like frozen dinner things. I think it's, I don't know if it's like Annie Chun's or it's some kind of other thing like Annie's or something like that. I don't know what it is. Some kind of,
yeah, Annie's products are pretty good.
Yeah, but I think I used to always like this bean burrito or breakfast burrito, different things. But I got this a couple different frozen things once I started liking them, and one of them was like this frozen like tray dinner. It was like sesame noodles, right? And so I took because the directions call for like leaving the like wrapper on it, the plastic wrapper. So I was like all paranoid, and I was like, no, I'll just be really really clever here, and I'll just use these bowls. So I just like, instead of covering it with a plastic wrapper, I covered it with a bowl. And even beyond breaking the directions like that, I did something else I didn't even think of, but I folded it in half. So it's like this rectangle, like 2.5 inches by 4 inches, right? And I took it out of its normal tray, like a moron, and I folded it in half. I put it in this bowl, and I put like another bowl covering it, kind of like your actual directions are for the burritos recipe.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same company, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no excuse. I even overcooked it like more minutes than it called for that dinner. But oh my God, apparently there was some frozen that didn't get cooked in the middle of it because like I folded it over on itself. So it's like usually probably like less than an inch thick, but now because I folded it over, it's probably like 1.5 inches thick. And some of it didn't get cooked or whatever, right? So the outside probably tasted good. It was warm. And then the inside was kind of cold, and I wasn't paying attention. Ate that crap, and that was the second time I got food poisoning. That was just so horrible. I had like a headache with it because I think like something to do with like the uncooked thing, the preservatives and frozen crap, and it was rough, but it was nothing as bad as the Jack in the Box food poisoning. That was awful. That was really bad.
Yeah, kids died from that. Kids died from that Jack in the Box poisoning.
That was bad. That was bad. I drank fake alcohol a couple times in China. That was really bad.
I don't know how Taco Bell is still in business because that ground beef, that's not ground beef they serving. Because there was a complaint about that before. But that stuff does not look like ground beef, and I would not eat it.
Yeah, it's like all yellow or
it just looks mushy. It's like gross mushy. Ground beef don't even look mushy with a seasoning or sauce in it. Even if you make spaghetti, that stuff is not real beef.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, it tastes good. Tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good.
That's the problem. That's the problem. There, it's convenient. It's convenient. My friend got arrested going to back from Taco Bell, and he was like, "Yeah, the cop." He said the cop was just like, "Yep, I sit here all night, just pulling all the drunk fraternity boys over." Just, but no, it's just yeah, it's unfortunate. There's a really good coffee company out here in the Portland area. It's called Ava's whatever. Is it called Ava's Roasteria or something? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's Ava's. You could find it Ava's Coffee Cafe, whatever, in Portland area. And I wish they would franchise out and go, it's just like so much. It's like completely amazingly so great compared to Starbucks. Like it just makes Starbucks look like the most generic off-brand coffee that there is. It's just such a great coffee, and they got actually really good like food too, and all kinds of food, and they got like a cool kind of atmosphere, very kind of like comfortable area outside, fountains and like plant. It's just really nice. Like I don't know, it's really like just they put a lot into it and really cool organization. And I wish they would replace Starbucks more. Could replace Starbucks more and give people more options. And there's a Burgerville they have out here. It's also
maybe that's why Starbucks is closing down some stores.
Well, real quick though, just like the Burgerville is superior to like let's say McDonald's. Like the Burgerville, they use all like regional stuff. They like use recycled paper products. They use like all recycled things. They they do things like that. Like so that's important. Like that's better than McDonald's. They got something on McDonald's at least. And like so it'd be just great if these companies could replace these larger companies, and we could like see that happen somehow. It'd be great, but I mean, you'd have to hope that they wouldn't sacrifice their quality in their product. Sorry, thanks, man. Or thanks, really, for me waiting. Let me finish there.
All I think is Starbucks is overpriced, please. I don't drink coffee, so.
I think they're overpriced. I think that their CEO is kind of a jerk. He's out there promoting himself, saying like, "Oh, our company gives back. Our company is so great. Our company is like, you know, we're so forward. We're so like we give like 5% to charity or whatever the crap. You know, like little things that they do or pay people. Well, they honestly take advantage of just bulk, you know, coffee and just sell this coffee, and they're just the only place in town. They got a way too inflated like reputation that's already, you know, you're right, they probably should be going because it's way over.
Are you talking about the former CEO?
Yeah, it probably was the former CEO by now. It was been a while ago.
Yeah,
but
he's opening up something himself now.
He was just really proud, though. He was just like really like, oh, we're so, like, yeah, of course you can be better than other companies. He was like, all companies should be as good as we are, and I was like, yeah, you have a higher profit, like you have a way better profit margin situation than somebody who actually serves people food primarily. Because I mean, you're just selling coffee for like, it's like if I had a company that sold soda all day long, it'd probably have a huge amount of profit. I could probably, because soda is so profitable, you know, I could probably like afford to do a couple of things and blow my own horn like that guy was. Anyway, he rubbed me wrong. People who overly PR stuff, you know, like really try to put PR stunts and kind of try to act like they're so righteous, really frustrate me sometimes.
Yeah, he's getting ready to open up some more stores, not Starbucks, but his own thing.
What is it? Do you know?
I'm not sure. He didn't give a name for it, but he's talking about opening up his own stores since he left Starbucks.
You know what nobody ever said about Anthony Bourdain? I listened to coverage. I listened to people talk about it. A few years ago, I saw on Google News it said, or I saw a couple of different places that Anthony Bourdain had announced that he was going to build something in New York called like Pier 61, and it was going to be like a place that you could go and like experience all kinds of different world foods and restaurants, and it would be like something straight from the docks that he always dreamed of, you know, doing and opening up this restaurant. This sort of like this pier with like all these different foods. You could taste all these foods, but then also buy fresh produce from, you know, all kinds of exotic varieties and stuff. And so he described this like, you know, like really cool idea and concept. And like, so I expected to hear about that. Like, you know, when I first heard like he committed suicide, I was like, maybe his business went through or something, but I didn't hear shit about that. You know, because if his business didn't go through, you actually have that then standing as an argument to say, well, the guy, how is he depressed if he's working on this big project? And I mean, Ebon talked multiple times about sort of his strength of his character. I agree with that. But anyway, that was just something that you talked about.
I don't believe he killed himself either.
Yeah, was
That's
it ever
the same thing they did with David Carradine? I don't believe he killed himself.
They said they were going to investigate it further. I never heard anything. They were like, "This is preliminary." Never heard anything.
That man was happy. I saw the video of him a couple of days before this so-called incident happened. So he don't look like he was upset or anything.
I mean, typically, one big thing that people freak out about is like relationships or money. So.
Well, I don't think he was freaking out about anything with the video I saw of him celebrating finishing the series that he was doing for CNN.
Yeah, I mean, like people who live outside of themselves and like to the degree that he did, thinking about other people, building relationships like that, you know, it's just hard to picture someone like that not having support around, not having ways to process that, not having reasons to live on. Just, it's hard.
No, but he went after people in Hollywood and the other people on the Food Network too. So who knows? I don't know. Who knows what happened to him, but I don't believe he committed suicide. And his estranged wife, she's handling all his affairs because they never got divorced.
Oh, he was having a relationship? I thought he was married, or he had a girlfriend though, or what?
No, he was still married, but they've been separated for years and getting a divorce.
Huh. Okay.
But since he was still married, his wife his will, she still handled his affairs. So his girlfriend had nothing to do with his affairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed his shows though. They're hard to watch because they always made me jealous. But I did enjoy watching them. It's a nice show to watch, like to like transport you somewhere, and feel like and kind of not something different.
He was very vocal about a lot of people in Hollywood and at the Food Network, talking about Paula Deen. She got diabetes. She's on TV serving these unhealthy foods and things like that. So, and I don't know, because Hollywood is creepy too. And all of a sudden, this man just killed himself. I just can't believe he killed himself. And I don't believe David Carradine killed himself at all. At all. They tell me, oh, it's a such thing of the kind of hanging they did to themselves. Get the hell out of here. I never heard of it myself.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't subscribe to, because there's not many of them that you could really catch me supporting or saying that I believe in. Some things I do, but some things I wonder. But I guess at the same time, I'm not that naive to think that that never would happen, like a framed suicide, like something made to look like a suicide. So my question is, how come we never see that get busted or uncovered? If you live in a real society where there's real justice and real investigations, then that's gonna happen, bound to happen. So
well, Hollywood and the government
when's the last time we you have definitely a longer memory than I do. When's the last time we know of somebody that was like somebody that like it was later uncovered that it was made to look like a suicide, like, you know what I mean, like a botched one of those? Like, can you recall any? Because I can't recall any in recent history. So I'm not naive to think it never happened. I think one of these out there probably were a real suicide, but I don't know which one. I don't know.
I never heard of a real suicide that came out, because I know the government and Hollywood are intertwined together. Because Terry Crews said he was supposed to be an expendable 4, and since he brought out the claim about being sexually assaulted, he can't be in that movie. And that's a shame. That is a shame. And he was complaining about he think his family was being wiretapped and followed. The CIA is really intertwined with Hollywood.
So Maynard, the singer from Tool, was accused of like rape, and it's just funny because he's about to release an album, they're working on forever. So it's like kind of like to spoil like the album release, and it's like I'm not one to apologize or like say that he's definitely clear, but it's just I just want to say like that seems really funny when you look at like the parameters around it, that like it's been like 17 years, like 17 years have passed or something, or 15, 16 years, and like it's such a cliche story. Like the story she has is that they asked her to go back and see the band, and she was with her boyfriend. They said there's only one pass, and she was like, "Oh, okay," and then got raped. And it just seems like, I don't know, but I guess, like let it come out.
But he's not that type of person, though. He's not. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics of his songs and stuff like that, it's
hard to really.
He's not that person. He's a very inward-looking person. He doesn't.
There's lyrics that actually indicate that he could have been a victim of like rape. Pretty strongly.
But yeah, there's 2 songs about his mum, and that's Wings to 10,000 Days, and then he's got his other band, which is A Perfect Circle, which is Judith, the song Judith. But there's other songs. I'm trying to think of the other song that you're right, that he alludes to being abused as a child.
Well, I mean, there's different things. I mean, like Stinkfist is an obvious one, and I guess I don't know. There's like, I guess is that the same one where he's like with your hands bound and your eyes down?
That's Prison Song. Prison.
That's Prison Sex. That's right. Okay, yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's different ones. I don't know. My friend was discussing that with me before, and he went into it. I forgot what it was though.
Yeah. I just want to reread Tool Anima.
He said that like this was an insult to the Me Too movement. He's wasting the time, and like these accusations are like empty and like basically insulting and working against the Me Too movement. I thought that was kind of a nice way to say it.
Hey guys, I'm getting ready to go.
I wanted to show a video before you go, Shell.
Okay.
You can see videos, can't you?
Yeah.
So
you
Tommy,
put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll go on YouTube. So Tommy Robinson, you know who Tommy Robinson is?
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. He there was a what do you call it? A march for anti Tommy Robinson, and a couple of people got attacked at a couple of the anti Tommy Robinson protesters got attacked by Tommy Robinson supporters. So I just want to show you, share that and that, click share.
Holding an interview with Steve Headley, RMT. Can you tell us what happened there, Steve? Well, we're just outside the pub. I was with my missus here, and we got attacked by a load of thugs, completely unprovoked, EDL, FLA thugs. We defended ourselves, obviously, and there was a lot of casualties on both sides, but it was a completely unprovoked attack. We were just sitting there having a drink outside that pub down there. Stories Arms. We've just been on the anti-Tommy Robinson demonstration, protesting against fascism. And this is what it is. People need to understand that these people are not about free speech. They're about attacking working class people. They're about attacking trade unionists. And we've got to get out and we've got to stop them doing what they're doing. And this today shows what they're about. They're attacking trade unionists, attacking organised working class people. It's all right to have free speeches for Tommy, but if you oppose Tommy, you get attacked by a glass in the chair. And we have to stop this. Right. Were there any other victims as well? Yeah, my partner Bridget, she got a chair in the ribs. She got an iron chair in the ribs. We've got an elderly gentleman got a bump on the head. We've got somebody else who got hit with a glass and got split in the head. So they've attacked us unprovoked outside a pub. I think, to be honest, if it was a points decision, they've come off worse, but they initiated it. And this is what you get when you allow fascists to walk the streets.
Okay. How long ago was this, Steve?
20 minutes.
20 minutes ago. Okay. Thank you.
There you go. Pretty full on. Pretty full on.
I mean, it was probably them both fighting. It was probably both groups fighting, right?
No. They were sitting down having a beer at the pub, and some Tommy supporters went up and attacked them.
Oh, really? So there was not like shit talking that preceded that? Like,
no, it was just straight up, and I went and attacked them with a broken glass and a chair.
Oh wow!
Was it Antifa?
No, it was just an anti-Tommy demonstration, right? And then some of Tommy Robinson's supporters went up and attacked him. It wasn't Antifa at all. It was just trade unionists and unionists getting together to demonstrate against Tommy Robinson, and then they went after the demonstration to have a beer, and yeah,
that was wrong.
Is the Tommy Robinson guy in jail still, or what?
Sorry.
Is the Tommy Robinson guy still in jail?
Yeah. He's got 13 months.
30?
13.
13. So he's charged with, like, what is he charged with again? Public disturbance or something?
No. He's charged with what's the thing when you go against the court? If a court puts a ruling out and you go against it, contempt of court.
Really?
Yeah.
But for what specifically? Like, I thought it was for organizing. I thought some guy I heard talking about it said it was just for. I mean, it was a guy that was on the right. It was like an alt-right guy. He was saying that.
Yeah, he is.
He was arrested. Well, he was saying that this guy was arrested just for being out there, being outside.
Yeah, he was. Okay, so there was a what do they call it? I'm really not with it tonight. They put a gag order on releasing the names of the victims, and then on top of that, they put a gag order on the names of the perpetrators to protect the victims. So you can't. So the media can't go after the perpetrators, and then the perpetrators say the name of Seisha, say the name of the victims. So it's sort of like you extend that protection to the perpetrators in order to protect the victims. Now, the media would understand that they're not allowed to approach any of the accused, whereas Tommy stood outside of court identifying the perpetrators, which he's not allowed to do.
Okay.
And he put him out. He put it out in public discourse, which he's not allowed to do. Now, it's the same in Australia as it is in the UK, that if a court puts a order out like that, a gag order to say do not publish the names of the victims or the perpetrators, if you do that, then you're held in contempt of court, and the judge can sentence you right there on the spot.
Oh wow! Does this happen often? This sort of thing,
all
or is it kind of a rare?
Yeah, all the time. No, all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of sexual assault victims and stuff like that. That wouldn't be as high profile as Tommy, but you know what I mean. It's like in Australia, to publish anything, it would be like putting a Facebook status up saying victim name is accusing me of raping her. Bang, you published it. So you're held in contempt of court. Go to jail.
Is that kind of like I mean, they still have to like go on, what do you call that? The sex offender list, watch list.
No, because they're not they're not sex offenders.
Okay. But you guys have that, right?
Oh yeah. If you're found guilty of sexual assault and sexual rape and sexual assault and stuff like that, yeah, sure. Then you go on the sex offenders list, and it varies. I mean, if it's just a sexual assault, you might be on it for 5 years. If
So these
it's like
people,
a series of rapes and they find you guilty, then you could probably find yourself with a lengthy jail term and then on the sex offenders list for the rest of your life.
my friend, actually, I think it was the same guy that got arrested going to Taco Bell, was saying that I got arrested for, this guy's a doctor now. he got actually a ticket or arrested for like indecent exposure for just like, I guess, going to like relieve himself behind this house, and a cop just happened to drive by at the exact time and kind of look over, and and he got put on there. I think what he said, 7 years or something, 7 or 9 years or something like that. So it's sometimes easy.
Oh yeah, it's
17 or something like that. Like
it's as simple as going to relieve yourself in public, man. And if a cop sees you and pulls you up, then and especially if you're close to a school or something like that, it doesn't matter if it's day or night, they'll fucking pin you for it.
Yeah, it's the middle of the night for dude.
Yeah.
Also, but like, so these people were convicted up there in the UK. Then why aren't they on a public sex offender list? And then Tony Robinson or whatever doesn't need to do that.
They hadn't been convicted. He did it during the trial.
What?
Yeah, he did it during the trial. Yeah. So he went to the what do you call it? He went to the court and stood outside the court and filmed the men as they walked in.
Wow. So I mean, couldn't like they be like themselves like responsible for covering their appearance if they don't want to be filmed, or couldn't the police be responsible for having a facility that allows for them to like drive in a underground parking or something? Like, couldn't you look at this different ways? But
yeah, but I mean, the thing is, no one's supposed to report on it, so it really doesn't matter if you
practice too. I mean, there's already been something that's been well established and happens frequently enough that there's like a precedent and it's being followed. I mean, I just think that people like fairness. Whether it's about punishments or it's about making money, the more that it's like at least perceived to be, and there's some semblance of fairness, equalness.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important for like order in society and structure and just people's happiness. I think like I know I myself put like a lot of emphasis on intention. Like, what is the intention of this? Did somebody mean this? To mean to do this? Like, were they thinking that? Like, and it makes a big difference, when things happen. So, that's just such a broad thing for me.
Yeah, I just don't think that it would be. I mean, they don't need to be ushered in a back way. You know what I mean? If you're a victim, then and you're the accuser, then I could see the reason to going in the back way. But I mean, there's no real sort of reason if the courts have demanded that these guys not be published in any media, then there shouldn't be any real problem with going to and from the courthouse. You know what I mean? With their identity. Like there shouldn't be Tommy Robinson there identifying these people. There was no media there identifying them.
Was the police's fault? And I mean, nobody can have like be expected to have all foresight and sort of clairvoyance or something. But I mean, at the same time, it's like they could have like blocked off a larger area to keep him from having access to be able to film. Like I'm just saying, like to arrest him and sentence him for 13 months. Maybe it's too much.
Yeah, but you can't have police. You can't have like a ton of police sitting at the courthouse, expecting, maybe one person might show up. It's a waste of money and resources. If you're supposed to know,
situation.
Yeah,
So,
you're supposed to know that these people's identities aren't to be exposed, and because you've been there and you've exposed them, then you're breaking the law. And this is the thing. This is the thing that shits me with people like Tommy Robinson and the right. He broke the law. Aren't you all about law and order on the right? Aren't you all about making sure that people are doing the right thing by the law?
If you got a problem with the law,
now he comes in and he breaks the law. You're all up in arms and saying, well, it's a free speech violation. No, it's breaking the law. You broke the law.
Well, I feel like we have the ability to record in public spaces here. So I guess
you can record in public spaces, but the thing is, when a court, and I know in Australia and Britain, when a court says you cannot identify and you cannot publish these people to the public, then the court makes that order. You can't do it. And if it had been the BBC that did it, then I'm sure the BBC would have gone to, the people from the BBC would have gone to jail.
Right.
There's no difference between who did it.
No matter, regardless.
Yeah, but this is my thing.
Not a parallel law here. I don't know that we have instances such as those here. The only thing that could come to mind is the American idea of you can't show the body, the coffins and stuff from service members coming back. That was a thing. That was a law that we've actually passed for. So I guess potentially if someone were to have filmed that and broadcasted that on some primitive E-bombs world or something.
Yeah, but it's the same in Australia when the government turned around and said, okay, you're not allowed to record any of the people who were traveling from Indonesia who are seeking asylum. You can't record it. You can't report it. You can't do anything.
That happened? Or was that hypothetical?
Yeah. No, that happened. So
wow.
It happened in 2013, that law passed. So we don't know when illegal boats come in from Indonesia with illegal immigrants. We don't know. And now they're stopping.
You're not allowed. I think we're not allowed to film the oil spills sometimes. People can't get close to the oil spills and things.
Yep. It's shit like that.
How bad America is on immigration, how bad Israel is on immigration, how bad Australia is apparently.
Mm-hmm. Australia is really tough on illegal immigration. Really tough.
I guess Israel's worse.
Dude, there's people that have been locked up for over 10 years without charge, without anything. They've just been. I just think it's
shitty. It's shitty to shit on the most downtrodden.
Exactly.
For me, that's that itself is weak. That itself shows your colors. It betrays you to be a slime ball. It betrays you to be too greedy and have your priorities out of whack and just be somebody who is callous and has no sense of humanity or compassion or something.
So it's my understanding that if you can't identify someone, you don't leave them in detention. You send them back, and you say, "Look, you're being sent back. Choose a destination within the Middle East that you want to go to," because they're not letting them into Australia, but it's really bad to leave them in indefinite detention. Now, I'm of the opinion that we should be educating these people while they're in detention, teaching them to learn English, teaching them trades and skills and stuff like that, instead of just letting them sit there.
Yeah, why not?
Make them productive.
Different opportunities. Not everybody wants education. Yeah. Like you said, trades. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Offer opportunity. Offer them the chance to become a productive Australian citizen. Give them that opportunity.
They'll do it for you. They'll do it for you if you're a Chinese person with a couple $100,000. They'll give you a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to have a couple of $100,000. You just need to be Chinese and have, $10,000 to your name and say that you're going to be studying, and have someone to fund your fees, and you're in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to come in by plane. Really easy to come in by plane.
Well,
and
this is a great movie. It's kind of niche, or it's kind of something that might not be that common. It's Casino Jack in the United States of Money. Just guy Jack Abramoff, and they talk about this like island Saipan or something with all these just cheap work. And I've heard other stories about like just these unfortunate immigrants going and like going different places and basically be indentured servants or something like that.
Yeah,
and I don't know, they move around, I guess, like basically to Saudi Arabia. Or did I read a story? I guess it was something about North Koreans going to Syria or something, or Kuwait. I guess it was Kuwait. I feel like it was like a North Korean girl like died or was being mistreated severely or something different, and it was like, maybe it was Vice News. I don't know, maybe it was propaganda. Who knows? May well have been, but it was exposing, I think, or maybe some figures. I definitely heard it from multiple sources about just these people who like go and they have to just like work for a year and a half to pay off their travel fees, or just horrible shit where people are just really being taken advantage of. And it's like some of those people could have been like working in a factory for 2 years, not getting screwed over. They don't have their passport, then they wind up in Australia. Oh, thank God, I'm in a civilized country now. I'll be fine. Oh, here you go, 10 years in the thing. So that's horrible. That's horrible. That's god awful for
I guess the thing that really frustrates me the most is we've got all these people who are in detention, and this one girl came over and she was going to be an au pair. You know what that is? An au pair,
like nanny.
It's sort of like a nanny.
I had a French or not, so I had a Czech or something gal.
Yeah, like a nanny.
I met that was doing that in Canada for a while. Pretty common.
Yeah, so she came over here without a visa, and because she was going to be an au pair for a very influential person, that person made one phone call, and within an hour she got a visa from the minister, the guy in charge of all of immigration and stuff like that. That's how corrupt it is. If that had been an Afghani refugee come in by plane and forgot a visa, there's no way, and they had a job lined up and everything, there's no way on earth he would have let that Afghani person in. There's no amount of phone calls could have made that happen. But because this person that she was working for was influential, she got a visa straight away. It's a corrupt system. It's
really just it sucks to have to worry about what you're going to eat. It sucks really if you have kids. And I just feel like that's just that's the basis, some sort of part of the basis of my humanity or whatever. And basically, when you have to worry, when you find yourself worrying about these things, it's just kind of like you don't really get to escape it. It's constant. It's a constant 24/7 thing that you're worried about bills, and you're worried, overdraft fees, and it's funny. It just gets worse and worse in some of these other countries. You just kind of wish hope your kids might have an opportunity to not live that way, like so hand to mouth and paycheck to paycheck, and uncertain and not able to pursue education or goals like that, or anything entrepreneurial, or any dreams or whatever. But then to points to where you're from some like war-torn place, or some place with droughts, and some place famines, you know, things like that. That is just the idea to treat like those people like shit and think nothing at all about treating those people like shit is kind of makes me like, that's probably one of the most things that make me resent, you know, humanity and like look down on, you know, have a negative view of things. Just people like that.
Absolutely.
How do you what's that word? How do you justify that? You know, that view, like in any rational sense. Ugh. Yeah, and everybody, it's cliche. It's so fucking cliche of me to say like, oh, duh, like, fucking people who have $1 billion share. Wow, I'm a genius. See,
yeah. Yeah, it sort of it really frustrates me because I look at a lot of things. Australia is a really conservative country. We only really have a change of government when the government's doing really bad, like really, really bad. If the government's doing okay, then Australia, we've had a conservative government way more in Australia than we've had anything else. So Australia is really conservative. The voters are conservative, right? And I guess the thing that frustrates me the most, and it really shits me, is people don't look outside their bubble. Okay, and what I mean by that is they look around and they see that they're doing okay and they're happy with that. So, and they look at their taxes as if they're being robbed at gunpoint. And this is the thing that frustrates me the most. All right. So I look at taxes as insurance. Okay. So look, and the reason why I look at it this way is you look at car insurance. If you have a car in America, you've got to have insurance. In Australia, you don't have to have insurance. But you have insurance just in case you have an accident. Okay. So you pay your premiums each year and you don't have an accident. But you don't complain about it. You don't complain about that money going to other people that have accidents. You know, people who have accidents that make your premiums more expensive. You don't complain about that. But when you look at taxes and you pay taxes, you're basically paying insurance for your health, for roads, you know, all the social network stuff. Insurance if you need police, insurance. You don't need them every day, but you pay money, you pay your taxes. So when you need those services, you get them. And this is the thing that frustrates me as well, is that people think that if they pay less tax, they're going to be in a safer society. Well, we know that that's not true. Because if we look at the countries that pay very little tax, some of them do really well, right? Don't get me wrong. But they have law and order there, and they have other ways of getting money to ensure that, you know, these countries don't run into disrepair. But if you look at countries like Mexico and a lot of South America, a lot of Asia, look at Africa, you know, where people don't pay that much tax, there's rampant crime to the point where people try to leave those countries illegally to get away from that crime, right? So you look at the countries who tax very highly, or at a moderate rate to high, tend to have safer communities, a safer society. So all these right-wingers who want to pay less tax are very, very happy for the standard of policing, even though the standard of policing in most countries is shit at the moment. But you look at other things like roads and stuff like that, the problem isn't them paying so much tax. The problem is that the government isn't spending the money wisely.
That's right, dude. And I want to say, brilliant. You want to keep going? Go ahead. I mean, how you preface that to say, well, it doesn't fix everything, it doesn't make everything perfect, and then how you also, like whatever, clarified that and specified how, but they're going to argue that it's like pork and we got to cut the pork unless you spend it wisely. So, absolutely.
Yeah. So and spending money wisely, spending the taxes wisely isn't funneling it to the rich through taxes, through tax cuts, and then giving and saying that you're giving poorer people, and I say poorer because the people who aren't in the top 1% never benefit from major tax cuts anyway. It's always the really top uber rich people that benefit from it.
Have had maybe like the rich have had it their way for so long they don't even know what they want. Like maybe what they want is like for us to have our policies, because maybe that would do something to like offer some kind of spark of like a real vibrant dynamic competition and dynamics of competition and like some kind of liveliness, some kind of like actually back and forth actually I mean so yeah, I mean, like they just, I think it's just been rigged and tweaked, like kind of like specs for so long that if we like kind of set it up how we wanted, like things might be more efficient in different ways. You might involve and include technology in smarter ways. Might just come up with some good ideas and be efficient and be super efficient or be productive or just do something that really turns the economy around by just offering more or sort of uplifting hope and providing something better for the long term. Like it's just they're just so interested in basically keeping things the way it is, keeping things the way that they are, and the stock market projections and everything needs to be stable and GDP and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So the thing that annoys me as well is that because they funnel so much money to the rich, these people who live in, dare I say, upper middle class, upper middle class, and then you've got rich and then uber rich. They don't see that they sort of live in the middle. So they don't live in a nicely manicured, Beverly Hills mansions and stuff like that, and down in Malibu and the Hamptons and all that type of stuff. They live, on the cusp of that. They live on the border of dare I say, the poorer parts of the country, right? So they see that decay of the lower class, the lower classes. So the lower class, low income, poor, homeless, right? They see that decay because it's on their doorstep, right? And they say, well, the thing is if we're paying all this tax and we're not seeing any benefit for these lower income people, like we're not seeing any infrastructure built, we're not seeing roads fixed, we're not seeing footpaths fixed, we're not seeing parks maintained, we're not seeing all this other type of stuff. So why are we paying so much tax? If the government would actually stop, which they won't because they're lobbied by the uber rich to funnel money to them through weapons contracts, through the banking system, through many avenues, through dodgy fucking dodgy, what do you call it? Dodgy contract, like government contracts that never get fulfilled, but the government still pays it anyway. Then the middle class and upper class will actually see the money being spent and the improvement in society. So then you can turn around to them and say, look, we're not spending the money and giving things. And this is the thing that shits me about the upper middle class and the middle class is they say, we pay so much tax and everybody who's on the left wants everything for free. They want free healthcare, free education, free everything. Well, in a socialist society, everybody benefits from that. It's not, okay, so you voted for the Conservatives, you voted for the Republicans, therefore you're not allowed to have any of our leftist ideological system. You need to stay on the right and not get any of that, which doesn't make any sense, because if you're a right winger, right, and all these policies were introduced, free education of community colleges, free healthcare, infrastructure, they all breed jobs. You know what I mean? So you're going to benefit from that as well.
They're not only hiring liberals, they're not only
exactly
accepting liberals into college or something.
They're not only looking after liberals in hospitals.
Right.
They're going to benefit from it as well. They're going to benefit from better roads. You can say, look, if we have a better infrastructure plan and we upgrade the infrastructure, then there's going to be less wear and tear on your car.
But instead, we're stuck divided and arguing back from the point that they just want everything for free, and they keep us stuck arguing back to that point. And it's like, why do we even have to argue our way out of this point? That's a false point anyway. It's like, well, okay, why don't we just reinstate slavery then? Let's just
exactly.
Why don't you argue that? Let's just repeal everything of common sense. Let's literally decode the 10 Commandments from our thinking. Like, let's literally just throw all ethics and to the wind. All means nothing. Like, it's complete nihilism and survival of the fittest. And
exactly.
Let's not even say hello or hold be polite at all or courteous at all. Like what the fuck?
And minimum wage is another thing that annoys the shit out of me when people say, oh, but if you bring in, a $15 minimum wage, business will close. No, they won't. You put your prices up. People will still buy the stuff. It's just they got more money to buy that stuff. So someone who's on minimum wage of $7.50, right, or $7.25, right, should have to pay the same as someone who earns $100,000 a year. It doesn't make sense. The rich only want to make sure that they don't have to pay as much for what they get, which is wrong, because if you give not just give money, but people who earn money and they earn more than a minimum wage and they earn $15, they've got more money to spend. So the money comes back anyway. You know what I mean? Like, the money cycles back into the economy.
Yeah, and I think then you keep people working. You're not giving away money. It's a really, the welfare state concept on the right has some truth. I think that's why the lie of it can go so far. It's like, you really do get kind of stuck in the welfare state and in that paradigm of not really being able to get past a certain economy in your life, and so it kind of also helps us take our focus and attention and notice a lot less that the jobs are shit, and more just awful low paying jobs are crappy or undesirable, more undesirable, and definitely more low wage job. Same thing. Yeah, and it's just like, if there's this little welfare, but it does mean so much. So what I mean is food stamps. I've had food stamps, and sometimes they're more, sometimes they're less, and it all went on food, and nothing ever nefarious happened. It was completely unfair. There was never anything like a matter of I traded it for crack or something. It was went for food, and and it was very, very much needed. And it's just like that kind of stuff really matters. So you give people a minimum wage increase, you know, it really, really matters. It's going to go towards their living.
If someone is earning a full-time wage, they shouldn't need to rely on the government for assistance.
Yeah, and I mean, like honestly, there could be some like overall patterns of like more flourishing and more prosperity and more well-being. With just some simple, even only one economics course math, like from a doofus Nimrod dummy like me, I can just sit here and say, well, if there's more demand, more people have more money to buy more in various products and regular items. There might be more competition. There might be more of a need. There might be new companies that could start, actually a need for that, a room for that, and then by that competition, then you have prices lower. So then people not only have more money, but they also have potentially be facing lower prices. Feel better
gross
about
demand.
Feel better about supporting a new innovative product, and be able to vote with your dollar. Be able to escape, you know, be able to pay a little more for the craft thing or the local thing or whatever in instances, or pay for more for whatever they want. And so like therefore have more of a dynamic and more of a
it creates demand.
Of a quickly evolving market, and actually within capitalism of capitalism itself. So I'm just saying, like, how do they even know what they want at this point? They've just been spoiled. They've had it their way for decades and decades. They're taking it too far. They're aging. They're just like, they're basically, it's like you can if you do something awful, like if you're doing an awful job that you hate, then you can, or if you work awful hours, you know, and you just work yourself so much, then you really need that vacation to be really special. Like that one vacation a year, man, you got to spend like $10,000-$20,000, right? So that it can be amazing, so that you can justify your horrible existence. Like, you know, you're miserable, how you feel miserable in like 60-hour, you know, week at the office or whatever it is, you know. And if you work that way your whole life, then when you retire, you just have to have this to and if like you're doing things that are objectable, consciously objectable, or you know that you don't even like yourself to have to do, then you're gonna have to pay yourself off like that. So all these things just, like, I think it just contributes to just like a sort of problem where
well, the thing is, right,
they're in their own bubble. They're doing things that are like very, you know, questionable and
like, it's just
reprehensible.
the way that the rich work, man. It's just the way the rich are, man. They don't give a fuck about anybody. They care about where they are on the rich rankings and how they can just fuck over people. But like the thing that bugs me the most, I keep saying that bugs me the most. The thing that annoys me is that if you give people a minimum wage, like of $15, okay, they pay more tax. Okay, they spend more money, which creates more taxes. Therefore, you can reduce the tax burden on the more richer people.
There you go.
Sense. If you've got more people, more lower income people earning a taxable income, if you've got more people on the lower rungs earning more money, which is taxed more, when the government will earn more, therefore there could be company tax cuts to those companies that you know, for the increase of the minimum wage. There could be a tax cut.
They do it for Amazon is because they're giving jobs.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. They're shit jobs. It makes the government look good. It makes the state look good.
Well, but you know, not like you know, these people could be actually getting in higher tax brackets too, if like they're making more, and then they have. But you know, that's actually kind of a larger problem, I guess, because you need the jobs, like you said, they're shit jobs, so you need the jobs to have like the opportunity to be promoted and to like
grow and expand
and stuff. Like I think like I worked for a grocery store before, and even the people who'd been there for like 12 years were still making like $7 an hour in Missouri. And this was in 2012 and 13. And
Yeah.
it was like, and they were just like, well, and they all worked around there like a construction crew. You know what I mean? Like they worked so slow. They just worked slow, and they didn't give a shit. And they just like it was like, well, they pay us shit, but we're all friends, and we're just gonna take it easy. And I liked them for that. I was like, all right, cool. But I'm kind of like a little bit of a OCD kind of organized things, like to organize things. So I was like, it was kind of stressed me out working there too because it wasn't organized. It was just not organized grocery store.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just such a massive flow-on effect for people, you know, and there's no excuse for companies like Amazon and Apple and I say Apple because the Apple geniuses that work in their retail stores and stuff like that. Any corporation, Walmart is another example. There's no reason why these companies can't afford to pay their staff a $15 minimum wage. There's no excuse. They can afford it. It wouldn't send them broke. It's just that Jeff Bezos and the Walton family won't earn as much money.
Or even like do something more and remarkable, make it like 20 or 25, and be like, you know, this is just what we do. Like not a single employee in any of our, you know, locations like is paid under $20 an hour, and not a single person that makes any part of our products is paid less than $3 an hour internationally. Like $3, that sounds low, but if you understand about internationally and the rates, like that's actually super high. So,
yeah, and I dare say, I dare say Jeff Bezos is looking to become the first trillionaire. That's why he does it. That's why he does it.
Yeah, but I mean, with that kind of a reputation, like, you know, there's room for that right now because you used to have that. You used to have companies that had like their thing, like not even the 30-minute pizza is bullshit. I'm talking about like, you know, like they would say like all of our stuff is made in America. We have this kind of steel, or we have this kind of like a Harley Davidson or like a Vanderbilt like reputation of like just this is what we're gonna like, you know, like some kind of like a lifetime warranty. Like there's certain things that say confidence, and it's like it's certain things that say we're quality. We're like fucking we're part of your. I think there's like a sometimes like companies kind of want you to feel like this is a trusted name.
Yes, patriotism.
Trusted name. This is part of the. We're the Johnson & Johnson. We're a family company. Like so, it's like.
Yeah, patriotism.
You're a pillar of society. You're taking care of us. You know, you care about us. Okay, all right. So.
Even though Johnson & Johnson.
People. Okay, I pay everybody $20 an hour. Okay, I'm listening. Okay, I like you, Apple. I pay everybody $3 an hour. Everybody that makes any product in mine. Okay, cool. I like you. I like Apple. I feel good about this.
I'll spend. You know, I mean, I dare say the increase of Amazon's profits would skyrocket if they did the right thing by their employees. Because how many people sit there and go, "Fuck Amazon"? They screw their employees.
Yeah, Amazon and Apple are different. I think it depends who you ask. Apple. I knew a guy that made good money being online tech support for Apple.
Yeah, I'm more along the lines of the Apple geniuses in store.
Okay.
Yeah, they're retail. They're not really good with their retail stuff. So, but
kind of just going through. But I can understand that, like the younger college kids and.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, if even if Amazon, you know, did the right thing by all their employees and paid them above minimum wage, could you imagine the positivity that came from that? And people would go, okay, even though Amazon screwed over mum and pop stores in the past, and they didn't really do the right thing by their employees in the past, but they've changed their way, and you know they've been paying their staff a really good wage for the last, you know, I don't know, year and a half. You know, I might just switch back to Amazon. I just might switch back.
They're the leader. But now they're actually, you know, leading the way and paving the way, like you said, and like leading the way being, establishing a new kind of a pay, pay standard for, like a livable, but it'd just be nice to have people, like if you went to like the Apple store or dealing with the geniuses and stuff. And I actually had good experiences somehow with people that were like fairly nice and helpful, but sometimes I waited a little bit long. But the thing is, I basically had okay experiences, and but just suppose that if these people were even more well rested and they had potential for promotions and they're getting trained properly, and like, they help with in college, then you can't have everything. You can't have everything. But the way that things are now, it's kind of like you don't get anything. It's like you get unhealthy food and no health access, whatever.
Yep.
So it's like I think that's insane, and low wages. So they can't. I don't think pie in the sky. We can't expect them to give you $25 an hour in college, but there's there's a compromise to it all, and like something that's a lot more, feels a lot better.
There's not only the flow on effect. There's not only the flow on effect of having like goodwill in regards to paying your employees a base minimum wage, by gaining customers and gaining more sales and stuff like that. There's also morale within the workforce. Like, if you go, okay, I work for Amazon, I'm getting paid $25 and fuck it, I'm going into work today, I'm going to feel good. You're going to push through those orders because you're getting paid relatively well.
You're going to smile and not fake it.
Yeah.
You're going to have money to like feel, to do different things. So it's going to make you, and also really, I mean, I think teaching is a field that really shows this really well. Is that like when the schools pay more, they get better teachers.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get, like, if you're paying somebody double what they're going to get anywhere else, you really have your damn pick. You have people dying to get in to work there, and like you'd really have your pick of whoever you wanted. So, right?
Yeah,
I mean, everybody want to go be bossed around by some kind of robotic thing. If you're making $25 an hour guaranteed, you have people lined up.
Exactly, and you'd have
a cup or whatever, their diaper or whatever. Fuck it.
You'd have less
for the diaper option. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't change your prices, but I mean, the thing is that you'd have less staff turnover, so therefore you wouldn't have to keep training staff, which is really expensive. Training staff.
Yeah, I talked to an HR person that said that. I was asking, like, really, is that bogus? Like those numbers that's so expensive? Like, yeah, no, there really is. It really is. It's like actually the biggest thing is like I don't know who was talking about it, but like the biggest thing was like that you're paying somebody that's pretty expert, pretty high level. But maybe you've been on one of these groups that I heard you were talking about that. But it was like you're actually paying people like, no, I think it was in real life. I was talking to somebody, but real life, you know what I mean? Person to person thing, or whatever. I was talking to somebody, and they were saying like, yeah, you're actually paying like usually a manager to train them, or somebody who knows more, has a higher salary. And that's a lot where that cost comes in. It's a real deal.
Yeah, but
it's not an excuse. Like, it's not a corporate excuse. Like, oh, that's our.
Yeah. But every time you send an employee for a day's training, you've got to pay him for that day. So there's lost productivity because that employee has to go through training. So they have to do occupational health and safety. They have to do, learn about Amazon and all that other type of crap. And, there's all these other types of training that are out there, how to use the machinery in the workplace and all this other type of stuff.
Dreadful stuff about discrimination and sexual harassment.
Yep. Exactly. All that.
Videos.
Yep. And it's lost productivity. It is lost productivity. So, it doesn't make sense. All he is looking for is to become the first trillionaire. And it's really obvious because he's not changing his ways. He's been doing the same thing since he started. There's no sort of donating like large sums of his fortune to charities or anything like that. It's just
There's an
take.
option to donate to charities. There's an option to donate to charities as you purchase stuff. I purchase stuff from Amazon. I don't donate to charities because I guess I'm a horrible person. I don't know what it's
Well,
about. I don't know if I trust it, and I'm too lazy to research it. But there is an option, I will say,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
you can.
But but I want it to be. I would like to just personally, on a personal level, I want to see it be more than just a tax write-off. I want it to be
Exactly.
definitely a tax write-off.
But not only that, I want it
level, then that's not charity. It's not actually I heard before a saying, of course, something of the line of, it's not really a good deed if you enjoy doing it. And it sounds crude. It sounds crude. It sounds like an asshole thing to say. Point out. It sounds just wrong. It sounds like, no, fuck you. You can enjoy it too. But actually, if you actually think about it and reflect on it, just go ahead and think about it and reflect on it sometimes. Like, because actually, I think there's something to that. Like.
Yeah, but I also find it ironic that the richest man in the world has put on his website for people who are buying things off his website to donate, and he doesn't donate shit.
Well, it's the same thing with Facebook. Facebook is always asking people to donate to these charities and do this thing. Like, why don't you donate, Facebook? You gonna match me?
Exactly. Are you going to match is Jeff Bezos going to match the customers? Probably not. He probably doesn't. He probably...
Come on, big man. Come on, Mr. Money. Come on, where's all your money? How rich are you? Can't even match
this.
Little people donating through your humble establishment?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yep.
Patroning, so... Yeah, and then which exact charities are those, and which ones are left out?
Exactly.
That's what's the bad thing about like a collection of like, here's all these things, and then it's like, well, what do I not get to choose here? Like, it's like that exclusion. Like if Target's selling like a table and a lamp, and you have 5 tables and 4 lamps, and they only come from 3 different companies, and Target has like majority shareholdings in all 3 of those like sub little companies. Nobody ever heard of the brand and cares because it's just whatever stuff, It's like, then really, is it choices at all? Because they got the exact companies they want in there. They have the exact people they want in there, so that they're making the maximum profit, and you're not getting actual selection. You're thinking, oh, I have this choice. I have 5 tables and 4 lamps to choose from. This is, or whatever, And it's like, this is amazing. Look at all these choices. Which one do I want? It's like, you're not even choosing. There's like 100 lamps and 100 tables, and which ones aren't on Amazon? Which ones? Which books aren't on the on Audible, or like which like things like that. Which movies aren't on Amazon? Or whatever. Like things like that. It's like when you exclude something, then I don't know. It's disadvantaging it a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird like that with some of the big companies and the power they ultimately have to limit, restrict what we see or choose from.
I just don't like how you've got the richest man in the world asking you to donate to a charity when he does nothing or does very little.
I don't know that he does nothing. He probably does. He probably does donate to charities, and I'm sure. I think like almost most like the company. Then there's the company, and then the man, right?
Yeah.
Like it's different. Like I don't know, I just think if you're
making the man owns the company.
If you're making $1 million a year, like I think you should pay the taxes like it was before Trump changed it, or 40%, probably 50. If you're making $1 million a year, why can't you give 40% in taxes, like back to the society, like whatever at large?
It just makes me sick.
$1 million a year? Come on, $1 million a year, and keep making more. Go ahead, but just like 40%, 50%.
It just makes me sick. In my own mouth, it's just the obscene amount of wealth, and these people try to oppress people who just want a little bit of wealth to make sure that they have a better life for themselves and their kids.
Sorry, I'm off topic.
Just fucking frustrates me.
Yes. Well, I mean, like, where's the project? Oh, okay.
Are you going to say? No, finish off what you're going to say.
Zuckerberg said he was going to have a like some kind of Wi-Fi around the world and these planes for different people, you know, and make sure we had internet access. And of course, it's inherently like self-serving in a way, like, you know, the sure he's going to make sure they have Facebook accounts and things too, make sure they can have the ability to have Facebook accounts. But like, it's like, you know, it's just inherently, innately self-serving, but you know, where is it? Like, where is it? Like, you talked about it, you know, and it's like, where is it? Just like, love to see some of these things like have some follow through, do some things like that, like such as that, like actually use your money. It's fine. I mean, if you're gonna have a bunch of money, but then you do things like reinvest it in new projects like Elon Musk does, or if Mark Zuckerberg would do that, like I guess Jeff Bezos does too. But like, yeah, there's got to be some kind of metric or some kind of like percent or something that's like enough. I agree. I think Jeff Bezos doesn't pay enough or contribute enough to society. I think you can't let entities that are sort of semi, even borderline close to being monopolistic, like prevail and grow and boom and like whatever you call that, like flourish just like that to that like exponential degree, and like and not make sure you're not getting, you know, taxing them correctly or regulating them correctly, like whether it's Google or whatever, on whatever grounds, or just on the sheer tax ways or way of it, or whatever. But because that's back to the topic we were talking about earlier about basically corporate wealth extraction, whatever, funneling wealth to the rich, things like that.
It makes you want to break shit, that kind of stuff. The way that they just open, and it's not even hidden either. They just do it so blatantly out in the open. It smacks you in the face, and they just don't give a fuck.
John Oliver did a great presentation about insurance companies and what it really means, and like how they kind of screw people over. And I heard, and wasn't it Perseus Gold that said the other day, he was like, that's kind of like a tax on people who are bad at math or whatever, something about pertaining to kind of people buying these different dumb insurance plans. And you know, I think it's like we're all being taxed for being bad at math when we like buy this trickle down or whatever kind of Republican or even Democrat at this point, tax arguments of give money to the rich and just don't worry about it. Let the corporations have their way, and basically have a bajillion lobbyists to just make sure they have their way and just let it keep going on that way. Just, you know, be complacent and status quo is God. And like, you know, that's and like, so the idea that we can't actually do the math and say, no, actually, we, you know, like the poor people don't just want everything for left. Our poor people on the left or something like that. Our poor people are just don't. It's not a matter of them just wanting everything for free. It's actually, we've done the math, and it's actually, you could like, you know, be taxed 5% more and we'd be all good. You could be taxed 5% more and spend 10% less on the military, and like this wouldn't even be an issue or argument. Like this would be like, that's like, that would be like 10 times more than we'd even ever dream of to meet all of our needs. And like, so just shut up and like pay up, you know, cough it up, and like let's move on to other issues, other causes.
Well, the thing is, if you do say like solve homelessness and poverty and stuff like that, then you can work around, okay, we've got to a situation where these people are, you know, adding productively to society, where they're making money, they're being taxed and all this type of stuff. And then you can start reforming taxation around that. But I mean, you know, pie in the sky stuff, you know.
Yeah, and it would be a give and a take. It would be like a give and basically a give and a take. And then like at that point, for the left or these parties like are liberal things to split, sentiment to split, and have, you know, issues infighting, that would make more sense. This infighting now is kind of like, what is this? This is just like the left wants to go conservative, and they just did, and most people still think it's liberal.
The problem with the left at the moment is that
hey bro, my phone's about to die, so if I don't find a charger in time, just don't worry about it. You don't have to wait for me to come back on or anything else like that.
All right,
of course,
man.
I mean, you probably wouldn't anyway. I'm just going.
Yeah, I was just going to make this last point and then head off. The problem with the left at the moment is it's so what's the word? So full on, like justice warriors and shit like this that people can't. A lot of people don't identify with the left cause. So you'll see all these like hardcore feminists and hardcore left wing fucking ideologues and shit like this that'll come out and say we need, all this shit, and be violent and stuff like that, and then they lump everybody in the left with them. But then if you were to be say to them, well, I think you're alt-right. Oh, no, I'm not alt-right. So that they will put, like myself, they will put me in with all these like hardcore leftists, right?
That's a brilliant point. It's a brilliant point and insight, dude. It's a very brilliant insight, sir.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to head off.
That's very interesting, man.
Yeah. So think about that. That they will label you as a leftist Putin puppet, but then as soon as you turn around and say, "Well, I think you're alt-right," I'm not alt-right. I'm not racist. I'm not this, that, and the other. So
that's so funny. That's fucking brilliant, dude. That's a great point. I'm not even just like, or any, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just trying to, I'm not exaggerating that or like, chalking that up or anything. That's like such a fucking cool, like subtle insight and a great point. I mean, but that's, I think, yeah, the left is the PC, the fucking PC that just gets on my nerves. It's like, let's make sure we're utterly, thoroughly PC, like a sterile room and clean surgical environment to be PC. We're gonna say everything perfectly as per the lawyers' mandates. And it's like, well, okay. And lost in that is every fucking cause that you have a pretense right now that you pretentiously, pompously, like, gonna go about all these theatrics and invest all these monies to put banners and to put cause and put your name around any cause, any care about any of these issues. You're gonna overlook it all. It gets lost.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely. All right, man. I'll probably catch you tomorrow. Oh, look how dark it's gone. Woo! All right, no worries. I'll catch us tomorrow. See ya.